Good morning. Today we're going to talk about how to do your home IV infusion through a minibag plus. First, what we're going to do is have a clean work environment. Wash your hands with some alcohol-based hand sanitizer or antibiotic and antibacterial soap. Wash vigorously for 15 seconds under warm water and dry your hands completely. So we're going to follow our SASH, saline, antibiotic, saline, heparin, and finish. So we're going to set up our supplies in that order. Our saline, our antibiotic, our saline, our heparin, and our alcohol-infused cap. So what we're going to do is unpackage our 3 syringes. This is a clean procedure, not a sterile procedure. And everything that we use here today can go in the garbage when you're all done with it. We're gonna now, what I call burp the syringes to get the little bit of air out that's left in the syringe. So when you open the cap, you can pull back on the plastic stopper and slowly push forward to get all the air out. Then you can lay your syringe back down in the area it belongs. So we're gonna do the 2 salines and the heparin, pull back on the stopper, push up to get the air bubble out. 1 or 2 small air bubbles are okay. It will not hurt you. Last but not least, our heparin. Pull back a little bit and then get the air bubble out the best you can and put it back in the right spot. So I'm going to move a little bit closer to our patient. This is Selena, and grab our IV pole, which we'll be using to infuse her IV medication. You're going to start with a bag and the medicine attached to it. You can see there's white powder in the bottom of the medication. What we're going to do is displace the white powder with the liquid in the bag. In the middle of this blue, you can go ahead and break the seal. We're going to squeeze the liquid down into the vial, 3/4 of the way, just so it's saturated enough. And we're going to mix the medication until we don't have any more medication white powder clumps. This medication does have some sediment in it, that's normal. And then we're gonna hold the bag upside down. We're gonna squeeze again, so now all the liquid's coming down out of the vial into the bag. And that will have mixed our medication. We wanna make sure all the medicine goes back into your IV bag. Now we're going to take a look and make sure that there's no obvious signs of medication in our vial, which there is not. And we'll lay that down for a minute and we're going to get our tubing open. We want to make sure we set all this stuff up before we begin infusion so that we don't have to worry about having to re-sterilize the end of our IV. So your IV tubing will have a clamp on it, a roller clamp that you use your thumb to roll down or up to open and close. You also have a dial. It's set to open. What we want to set this to is 200 to infuse over a half an hour. So there's 100 cc's in this bag. This is set at 200 to infuse over a half an hour. So what we're going to do first, after we change this dial to 200, we're going to close our roller clamp. So you're going to roll that down all the way to the bottom. This is the top with this little medication container. We're going to take our IV medicine, hang it on our pole. There's a little hole up here in the top of the bag. And what we're going to do is take the cap off the IV tubing, take the blue cap off the medication dispensary, the blue cap, and that just pulls, this just takes off, and we're going to connect the IV tubing. So pull that off. Pull this off. Now you're gonna hold that with your fingers and slowly twist and turn till you can see some liquid coming down here, and you're gonna squeeze the chamber until you have about it halfway full. And this is how we're gonna be able to tell if our antibiotic is infusing once we hook up, because you'll be able to see the drips in the chamber. It's important to squeeze this a couple times so that no air gets through the line. Now we're gonna clean the rest of the air out of the line by unclamping the roller clamp. And we're gonna let it run down until it gets to this little axis here. And then we'll turn the roller clamp down a little bit and control it so that we don't lose any medication at the end. So here we go. We're opening it up, and as you can see, when we open it up, you can see, well, it's streaming down, but you can see the drips in the chamber, so you know it's coming through. I'm going to speed up this process just a little bit to get to the try to speed this up a little bit. Okay, so our medication is coming up the line, and it's there at the junction, so we close it and make sure we're back at 200 and slowly open it till we see the medication coming through the tip, which it's one drip, so I'm going to close that again. Okay, now we're ready to infuse. So your roller clamp is closed before you get ready to attach, and your dial is set at 200. Okay, we're going to put this in a clean area so that it doesn't go on the floor. I'm going to move closer to my patient, if I can get there. And now we're going to go left to right in our sash formation and start with saline. So the first thing you're going to do, and this could be a single line or a double line, the procedure is the same. You're going to unclamp, you're going to uncap. This now has alcohol on it. If you drop it, it needs to be re-cleaned. So the important part is to have everything set up so you only have to do this one time. We're going to take our saline, and this is a push turn lure lock. So you push and turn, and then we're going to flush this line. And you just flush the saline as fast as you want to flush until it's done. You're going to remove the saline when it's finished being flushed. Hold this again, keeping the tip clean. We're going to hook up our IV line. Again, push and turn. Your dial is set to 200. We're going to unclamp, and we're going to look for the drips. So now we're dripping. So now we drip for a half an hour. We're going to pretend like we dripped for a half an hour and the infusion has completely gone in. Sometimes your infusion, because we're going to gravity, if it's dripping kind of slow, you may have to put your pull a little bit higher for the drips to go through. Once you're done infusing, and as I said, because it's gravity, sometimes you may notice that your medication will only go down to, we try to get it down to the dial. Sometimes it'll go all the way through the whole tubing, but not always because we're gravity. So now that we're done infusing, this is the abridged version here. We're going to disconnect our line, and this can now fall or go in the garbage. We're going to flush with saline again, push and turn. The saline can go over any period of time because it is just, there's no time frame to push it. So it can go fast, slow, whatever the patient tolerates. Once that's done, we're going to disconnect again. That can go in the garbage. The last thing we put in the line is heparin. And this is so that the line doesn't get clotted with some dried blood, old blood. We're gonna push that through. Again, this can go as fast or as slow as you want it to. Once that is completed, we're gonna disconnect. And I did forget, and this is why I try and tell people to make sure this is all done before Peel back your alcohol swab connector, push and turn, and it is a little juicy as you can see, so watch your eyes. And now you have your alcohol keeping that tip clean till the next time you use your line. And we're going to clamp the line so that we don't get blood return. And you can wrap your line again and you're good to go till tomorrow. Thank you for your time.